This is a SnapEd New York video presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Wendy Beckman and I'm a registered dietitian with the New York State Office for the Aging and SnapEd New York. Thanks for joining me today on What's Cooking with NYSOFA. Today I'm going to be making easy chicken pot pie. We will post the link to the recipe below, and you can also find the recipe on the SnapEd New York website at www.snapedny.org. This is a great recipe for a quick weeknight dinner. This recipe uses convenience foods like frozen vegetables and canned soup. It's also a great way to use leftover chicken. If you have leftover chicken from a whole chicken you roasted yourself, or some leftover chicken breast that you made the night before, or even if you have leftover chicken from a pre-made rotisserie chicken that you purchased at the grocery store, all of those things could be used in this recipe. I love these kinds of recipes because cutting down on food waste is a great way to stretch your food budget. If you want to find out more ways to save time, save money, and eat healthy, you can watch all of the episodes of What's Cooking with NYSOFA on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page or the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you like and subscribe so that you don't miss when we share new recipes with you. While you're there, make sure you check out our other content, including Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition. Registered dietitian Lizbeth Irish takes the mystery out of good nutrition by asking New York State nutrition educators to answer your questions. Make sure to tune in on the second Friday of every month for new episodes. And make sure you watch this video all the way to the end so that you can find out what recipe we will be sharing next month. Before we start cooking, let's look at the My Plate graphic. This recipe actually covers all of the sections on My Plate. We have chicken, which covers the protein section, mixed vegetables, which covers the fruits and vegetables section. The biscuit topping on the pot pie covers the grain section, and even the cream sauce in the pot pie covers the dairy section. This is truly a balanced meal in one bowl. Now I know you've heard me say it many times that you want to make half of your plate fruits and vegetables every time you sit down to eat. And this recipe is a great way to include more than one vegetable on your plate. If you added a side salad to this dish in addition to the vegetables in the pot pie, you could easily have made half of your plate fruits and vegetables. Now before you start cooking, remember to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. This recipe makes 6 servings with 189 calories, 4 grams of total fat, 3 grams of fiber, and 13 grams of protein. Now let's look at the ingredients for this recipe. Here I have 1 2/3 cups of frozen mixed vegetables thawed. So that's what the recipe calls for it, but I actually have just 2 cups of vegetables here, and that's because that was close to the 16-ounce bag of vegetables that I bought, and I didn't want to have a whole bunch left over. So I figured that that extra 1/3 of vegetables wasn't going to hurt the recipe any. Here I have 1 cup of chicken that's been cut up. So it was previously cooked. It's leftover chicken. It was actually made on the grill, and I cut it up, and now I'm going to use it in this recipe. Here I have 1 can of condensed cream of chicken soup. Now you want to look for the reduced sodium varieties at your grocery store, but you could also use cream of mushroom soup or cream of celery soup. And I'm going to use cream of chicken. Here I have 1 cup of Bisquick baking mix. Here is 1/2 cup of milk. Look for low-fat or skim milk in your grocery store. This is actually 1%. Here is 1 egg beaten. Now the first step in this recipe is to preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And my oven has been heating up for a while. Next, we're going to mix the frozen vegetables, the chicken, and the condensed soup together. So I'm going to mix those things together in a bowl and then add them to the pan. Now the recipe tells you to mix it all together in the baking pan, or you can use a 9-inch pie plate, which I'm going to use today, but I don't think that I can mix all of this stuff together in a pie plate and not get it all over my counter. So I'm going to put it in this bowl, mix it together, and then pour it into the pan. So let's start out with adding the vegetables. So these are just regular frozen mixed vegetables. I did thaw them in my refrigerator to make sure that we kept everything at the correct temperature. You want to keep cold foods at 40 degrees or less to prevent the growth of pathogens that can cause foodborne illness. So we're going to add those in, thawed frozen vegetables. Next, we're going to add the chicken. And like I said, this was already cooked the night before, and I am able to use this in this recipe and cut down on my food waste. Next, we're going to add the soup. So here it is. This is cream of chicken soup, like I said. And this type of convenience food really does have quite a bit of sodium in it. So I am going to add some seasonings to this dish, but I'm going to avoid using table salt. Okay, so first let's mix all of this stuff together. Now, this recipe comes together really quickly because you're using things that have already been cooked, already been prepared. One of the advantages of using frozen vegetables is that all of that stuff is already cut up. Now, if you have difficulty using a knife or you have pain in your hands and it's hard for you to use certain implements in the kitchen, using the frozen vegetables is great. And a lot of times, again, we say in SNAP Ed, fresh, frozen, canned, or dried, all of those types of fruits and vegetables count towards making half your plate fruits and vegetables. This is sort of an easy way to do it. So that's looking pretty good. We have all of that mixed together. All right. Now we can pour this into the baking pan. And like I said, I'm going to use a 9-inch pie plate. So let me go get that. That's behind me. So you don't have to put oil in this or grease or anything like that. You just pour all of this contents right into this pan here. All right, let me make sure I get all of those vegetables in there. And again, if you wanted to use the entire 16-ounce package of frozen vegetables and just use the whole thing, you absolutely could do this. It would be another way to increase your vegetable intake. It's really a great way to easily increase the number of vegetables on your plate. All right. So now we have this mixed together. Next, I am going to put together sort of the biscuit topping. So let me move this out of the way. I have this bowl here. I'm going to mix together the milk and the egg with the biscuit baking mix. So let me put this in here first. This is the biscuit mix. Biscuit mix actually has some leavening agents in it already. So things like baking soda and baking powder are already mixed into this. So surprisingly, this type of a convenience food also can be higher in sodium. Next, I'm going to add in the milk. Like I said, this is 1% milk. You want to look for low fat or fat-free varieties. Low fat foods are better for your heart health. And this is 1 egg that I've just sort of beaten, and I'm going to pour that in there too. Now, when you mix this, you can use a whisk or you can use a fork. I'm just going to use a fork, and I'm just going to mix this whole thing together. And you will see that this comes together. It sort of looks a little bit like a pancake mix when you have it all mixed together. It's a little bit on the runny side. If you wanted your biscuits to be a little thicker, then you could add a little bit more of the biscuit mix into your mixture here, and then it would probably stand up a little bit more than just sort of being a little runny like pancake mix. Okay, so that looks like that's all mixed together. And then after we have all of that mixed together, we can just pour this biscuit mixture on top of the chicken mixture. So let me do that. Just going to use this spatula here and pour that over the mixture evenly. So we want this biscuit mixture to be covering sort of the pot pie interior part, right? The part where the gravy is and the vegetables and the chicken. So we're going to smooth that over a little bit. All right. That is looking pretty good. So once that is all completed, one of the things that I wanted to add that I haven't done yet is I am going to add some seasonings on here. So one of the things that I found lacking in this recipe was there were no seasonings at all. No onions, no garlic. So I'm going to put some minced dried onions on here. I'm going to just sprinkle that on the top. And this is a no sodium herb mix. And there's lots of different kinds that are available that you can get in your grocery store. That's another way to sort of cut down on the amount of sodium. Here I have some pepper, black pepper. Going to put that on top. Just going to sprinkle that on. All right, that looks pretty good. And then I have some garlic powder. Going to sprinkle that on. I really like garlic powder, so I tend to include it in most things that I make. And then we have some basil. And you don't have to sprinkle it on the top like this. You can mix it in with the rest of your stuff. You could mix it in with your vegetables. You could mix it in with the baking mix, whatever. All right, but it's important to have something in there other than just the vegetables and the soup mix. Now, like I said, the soup mix can be pretty high in sodium, so I'm trying to avoid those other things. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the oven for about 30 minutes or until the top is golden brown. And when I made it, it really took about 40 minutes in my oven. So let me just pop this in the oven. So that's going to take a little while to cook. And in the meantime, let me show you some easy chicken pot pie that I made previously. And here it is, all done. I think that this chicken pot pie is the ultimate comfort food, and it only takes a few minutes to put it together. You can prepare this dinner and be sitting down to eat within about 40 or 50 minutes or so. I hope that this recipe gave you some more ideas on how to include more lean protein, low-fat dairy, and fruits and vegetables into your eating pattern. Don't forget to join me next month when I'll be making peach crisp. It's a nice, easy dessert recipe. I'll be back with another edition of What's Cooking with NYSOFA on Friday, November 28th at 12:30 p.m. right here on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page and the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel, where you can find out more ways to save time, save money, and eat healthy. This presentation was funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us today. We know the healthy choice isn't always the easiest choice, but small changes can make a big difference. Start today by getting involved with SNAP Ed New York. This program is free for those who qualify or receive SNAP benefits. We want to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy. Learn how SNAP Ed can make a difference in your life. For more information and to find your local program, visit snapedny.org. This material is funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.
Hi, I'm registered dietitian Wendy Beckman, host of What's Cooking with NYSOFA. Over the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity to share healthy, nutritious recipes with you on the show. I work for the New York State Office for the Aging, and thanks to a partnership with SNAP Ed New York, our nutrition team reaches hundreds of thousands of older New Yorkers each year. So why a cooking program? 60% of health costs and related issues have nothing to do with health, but instead have to do with individual behaviors like our food choices and physical activity. The recipes we feature are nutritionally appropriate for older adults, meeting critical nutrition requirements for healthy aging. What I bet you don't know is that this show is only part of a larger effort. To help me explain what our nutrition team at the New York State Office for the Aging does and what a registered dietitian is, here is registered dietitian Lisbeth Irish.
A registered dietitian is a professional who has training and education in food and nutrition. To become an RD, you must complete certain requirements, including a minimum of a bachelor's degree from an institution that's accredited by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. You must also pass a national examination and meet continuing education requirements. What does that mean? As RDs, we are qualified to offer accurate advice about nutrition, and we can help answer your questions about how diet can affect your health. At NYSOFA, the registered dietitians handle many tasks. This includes hosting 2 online programs aimed at helping older New Yorkers make better nutrition choices. These programs are What's Cooking with NYSOFA, which is our monthly cooking demonstration, and a Facebook Live program that I host called Ask the Experts, Nutrition Edition. In the months ahead, be on your lookout for it. We'll be sharing your questions and our experts' answers about nutrition and health. New episodes of Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition debut the second Friday of each month on Facebook and YouTube.
As Lizbeth explained, registered dietitians at NYSOFA handle many tasks, including food safety at congregate meal sites, educational materials, and outreach. In the meantime, please don't miss an episode of either show produced by our team, What's Cooking with NYSOFA and Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition. Every episode is uploaded to YouTube, and you'll find the archived shows there.
Do you have a question about foods? Or do you have a particular health issue that you'd like to improve by changing your diet? Tune in to Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition every second Friday at 1 p.m. We'd love to hear from you.
Remember, registered dietitians are the experts in nutrition. Visit for more sound advice about eating healthy on a budget.